back to ATV News. I am your host, Samuel Angima, taking you through the weekly Baraza for the next half an hour. I want to thank you for tuning in from wherever in the globe you are watching us as we discuss and share what is happening around the globe. Welcome. Hello and welcome again to the show. I am your host, and today's headlines are as follows. Why clean energy is the way to go and how best to transition to clean energy. Comparing the newly set up Kenyan-based competence curriculum with some of the best curriculums from the world. Third item, from the big money makers to fighting for social changes, we look at how big corporations are the new voice in the fight against social injustices. Yes, please join our conversation through the social media handles that appear on the bottom of the screen. Our Facebook pages are at ATV News and our Twitter handles at ATV News, following the hashtag Weekly Baraza. With every sector of the economy relying on energy, and with Kenya edging closer to its goal of Vision 2030, access to reliable, efficient, and affordable energy will be essential to achieving this goal. Being part of the 3 sub-Saharan countries to receive part of the 30 trillion fund from the World Bank for Clean Energy, we look at how transitioning to clean energy from fossil fuel can best be achieved. We have our reporter, Millicent Ntinyari, giving us more from the Energy House here in Nairobi.
Following the release of funds from the World Bank for clean energy transformation in sub-Saharan Africa, we look at how the transition to clean energy from the predominantly used fossil fuel could be achieved with the set target of reaching Vision 2030. We had a discussion with top officials from the Ministry of Energy who explained how Kenya would achieve this and the steps already taken to achieve clean energy distribution throughout the nation from projects such as off-grid or standalone renewable energy products with power ratings less than or equal to 350 watts, popularly known as plug-and-play solar home systems. Photovoltaic devices such as solar stimulators, wind energy generation systems, concentrator photovoltaic, generators, micropower systems, small photovoltaic individual electrification systems, among others.
Okay, thank you, Millicent, for that report. We were able to get the Energy Minister on a call where we were able to ask him a few questions on the plans that Kenya has concerning the clean energy sector moving forward. Hoping to get the clean energy sector more efficiently to every Kenyan in the country. Do you think it's attainable for every Kenyan in the country to achieve clean energy?
If you see the resources which we have, it's a lot, and we are doing this year. We are doing a lot. We are going to connect a lot of customers, and I'd say the northern areas where we don't have grid, we are going to connect them through the mini grids, the solar which we are rolling out. So I want to assure Kenyans that the rollout right now, we want by the year 2022 to have attained the universal access to electricity. We have the funds. The government of Kenya has given us funds, and also the donors have given us funds.
Definitely. And
with the funds already rolled out and projects such as the Nangam project in Coast, how soon or what is the time period that we can expect for the clean energy to be a reality in the country?
Well, I think the regulatory framework and the policy created by the Act of 2019 made it very, very favorable for investors. We're opening up investors in geothermal, wind, and solar. What we're also doing in the northern areas where we don't have the grid, we are investing in the mini grids, which runs under solar and wind. So we have facilities funded by the World Bank, up to $150 million. which we are now going to roll so that we capture every Kenyan wherever they are.
Yes.
And now, on to our second item of the day. We look at how the newly set up curriculum compares to what is considered the best educational curriculums in the world.
The first time in this reform, and that's why we are actually calling it a reform, for the first time I think we have gone out of our way to actually know what is happening in the market. It's critical that we begin to ask ourselves some of these critical questions, even as we move into the new curriculum. That what will it mean? What does it portend for us, for our future, for us to prepare the children for the next world? Because we cannot tell them that we are going to prepare them to be doctors. Nobody knows the future of medicine as a profession. Nobody knows the future of journalism as a profession. So we only have to prepare them to face life. And this is what Paulo Freire says, that teach them not to read the word, but to read the world. Will they be at sync with the world? When that time comes, will they face it?
Thank you to the educational experts in the piece in giving us pointers on how the CBC curriculum will affect our children in the future. On to our third item of the news, we look at how big corporations are stepping in and fighting for the little man. Corporations such as Britam, Safaricom have now turned onto corporate sustainability, meaning they work more for the needs of the community to ensure that they are one with the community. Today we look at Nairobits, a non-governmental organization that focuses on the community first and foremost before it embarks on making money for its own. Through Nairobits, we are able to see how corporate sustainability is shaping and changing the corporate landscape of the nation. Talking to us is Samuel Nyamwange, a corporate sustainability expert who will tell us what Nairobits is all about. Today we are talking to Samuel Nyamwange. We'd like you to introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
And my name is Sam Nyamwange, and I'm the Business Development and Sustainability Associate at Nairobits. But besides this, I wear many other hats, but I'm a sustainability enthusiast, and that's why I work where I work.
Okay, now what is Nairobits?
Nairobits is a non-profit that operates in Kenya. What we do is we use ICT to empower youth from informal settlements. So what that means is that for 2 decades now, we've been teaching youth from informal settlements on skills such as graphic design, web design, web development, skills around ICT that help them for socioeconomic empowerment, that help them come up in society and get to where others are.
What led you to Nairobits?
I was referred here by a person that I've worked with before at a different consulting agency, and he spoke to me and thought that I would do well as a communication associate, and that's how I came into Nairobits. I started as a volunteer communications associate, but now I shifted to what I am comfortable with, I shifted to what I feel challenges me more, which is business development.
So you've talked about sustainability and working in a corporate firm, right? How would you define corporate sustainability in your own words?
All right, 2 ways. Number one, corporate sustainability for me is how do we ensure this business is here for the next 50 years, for the next 100 years. So for us at Nairobits, we've been celebrating 2 decades of existence because we were born in 1999. And so our question to ourselves is, how do we get there? How do we get another 2 decades? How do we survive for another 20 years? Number 2, I look at corporate sustainability in the more traditional manner, which is, looking at the economy, society, and the environment. Because everything that we know in this world exists within these 3 spaces: economy, society, and environment. So, how we look at it at Nairobits. So let me start with the first one. Traditionally, because Nairobits is a non-profit organization, it has been dependent on donor funding. But then we realized that, because of COVID and because of where the world is moving into, donor funding is constantly shrinking. And especially within our space, donor funding is continuously shrinking. So we find ourselves in a position where we ask ourselves, how do we get to another 20 years if this donor funding is not there? And that is exactly what I do at Nairobits. Develop businesses that can feed profit back into the organization to undertake its core mandate. And we have two particular ways that we undertake this. Number one, we offer consulting services. So over 2 decades of existence and working in the space of technology and design and website development and all that, we've gained the experience, we've gained the expertise, we've gained the brand name, we've gained alumni. Right now we have over 9,000 alumni around Nairobi. And these are alumni who are willing to come back and work with us and to push the organization forward. So we tap into this experience and expertise of our alumni, of our trainers, of all our stakeholders to offer tech consulting to organizations that need it. Okay? Number 2, we have research and development as an offering of the organization. We realize we have a very unique nexus of, ICT, youth, and informal settlements. So this nexus, because we've gained the legitimacy of working within informal settlements, then we are a strategic partner for any organization or any institution which is looking to grow into that space. So if in case an organization is looking to develop products for people who are living in informal settlements, if an institution is looking to sort of customize their product to such a demographic, then we are a strategic partner to offer guidance around that. So we are developing business around our expertise and carving our niche, so that we are able to gain money that feeds back into our core mandate, which is training youth from informal settlements on ICT skills for their socio-economic development.
Big corporations such as the NBA stepping in, as we saw during the Black Lives Matter issues and issues concerning police brutality. Do you believe that there's a time in Kenya where big corporations can affect change to such a magnitude where they can take up space and affect the political atmosphere in East Africa or in Africa at large?
I think they do. Simply because, number one, these big corporations are what really feed into our GDP. We say Safaricom's earnings feed to 6.5% of our GDP. So they have a huge role to play because of their impact on the society. So, the bigger the corporation, the bigger the role that they have to play. The bigger the money they make, the more role that they have to play to making the world sustainable. And these big corporations are the corporations that have the most impact. Because you cannot have the most money without the most impact. So, it's trying to look at what are we doing that can make an impact. But also for them, it's to step into that space of social change. Have that social change within their core strategy. Sometimes, for many big organizations, social change and any social issues are put under CSR, which is very parallel to the organization. But if you look at organizations like, say, Safaricom, they have instilled the SDGs within their core strategy. So as they're working every day, they are working not only to make profit, but they are working to make the world better using the SDGs. And the SDGs are a great tool to do that. So they have a big role to play around social change, around environmental change, and around making the economy better for future generations.
Do you believe that more businesses need to take up this model and work for the society first, and then expect to build a relationship with the society first before actually trying to sell their product or to make money off of the society?
I think that's the only road to success for them. Because, they need the society as much as the society needs them. So if you win the hearts of the society, then you're able to even so yes, I think that is a model that even asking yourself simply, how does my product impact the end user, the consumer? People create products around the end user and around the impact that it has for the end user. And we've seen that such kind of thinking really blows big around business. So yeah, I think that is the only way to success. They need to sit down, ask themselves, what are we doing in the society? How can we make the society integrate with our solution? How can we be better within the society that we exist?
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Coming up next, a commercial break, and then the final news item.
I am delighted we could share in the serenity and joy of this beautiful day as we come together to celebrate the commitment of these.
Would you mind moving your enormous phone?
You mean the enormously awesome Galaxy?
Search One Trick Pony.
Aren't you a little young to have an iPhone?
You want to go?
iSheet, copy bots.
Autocorrect this.
Is there an app for that?
Search karate. Karate!
You think if they knew about the Nokia Lumia, they'd stop fighting all the time?
I don't know. I think they kind of like fighting.
The Windows Phone Nokia Lumia 920. Engadget's Reader's Choice Smartphone of the Year.
Thank you for staying tuned to ATV News. So, on to the fourth item of the day. We talk about how the new age media has affected the fight for human rights and justice in Kenya. We went out onto the streets and talked to the normal Mwananchi, and they gave us their own take on what they believe we stand and how, rather, where we stand as a nation concerning human rights and justice, even with technology coming into play and social media being a game changer.
Hapa Kenya mambo ya human rights na justice. Sasa hivi wanalia makarau kutumia fursa nyingi. Makoti asisikizi wase wa chini. Wewe kama Mkenya unaona
human rights ni vizuri sana. Si vizuri sana serikali inatumia human rights upon citizens. Hasa wananchi. Kivyangu serikali imefinyilia uwezo wa wananchi kupata chenye wanataka, mahitaji yao. Tukiangalia kama serikali, askari sawa, kama tuseme barabarani, inabidi kuna gari zinapita zikiwa zimebeba excess, those are the private ones, zikiwa zimebeba excess. Na zenye zinafanya hapa barabarani zenye zinajulikana, zimebeba excess. Sasa unapata wale wenye wamebeba tu excess wanaachwa wakivuka, kama kwa hii saa time ya pandemic. Unapata wanaachwa wao wakivuka, wanaangalia wachochole wa chini wanawafinyilia. Sasa unapata si vizuri, human rights zao haziangaliwi kwa usawa. Wale wa juu wanaachwa tu lengo lao na wale wa chini wanashuzwa tena.
Sasa kwa upande wa maaskari ni sawa, wanatusimamia vizuri, lakini kuna wengine wale huwa wanachukuanga mamlaka yao zaidi kupita kiasi, kufinyilia watu wa chini sana. Mfano sasa tutaweza kukosana tu na mtu ama iwe hivi na vile, at least ukienda kupambana ni kama askari ndio mmekosana, wewe unapata wewe mtu wa chini hauna uwezo wa kusumana na askari juu amepewa mamlaka zaidi. Inabidi sasa ukienda pale wewe unasikia saa zingine saa piga simu mahali fulani, unaambiwa enda pale, enda mahali pale, enda mahali pale. Sasa enda ulete hiki, ulete kama hiyo speed ama nini na nini. Sasa inafika mwisho unaona hakuna mbele wala nyuma, unaamua uache tu kwa sababu hauna hata uwezo.
Watu hushikwa kwa makosa na makosa ni makosa, na ukishikwa na makosa lazima upelekwe kotini. Kwa hivyo mtu asitarajie ati atakosea akose kupelekwa kotini. Wale wanawekwa kwa cell extra days, hiyo iko katika katiba. Mtu anaweza claim haki yake constitutionally na anaweza pata remedy. Kuna chapter za sheria ambazo zinaachilia mtu na benefits. Yes.
Always fun to hear from the local Mwananchi and very informative to how their opinions and views and what they have to say. So it has been a pleasure hosting the show again, and as always, the Baraza, we are dedicated to bring you informative and up-to-date news on the dot. So keep it locked and stay tuned for next week's episode. Kwaheri.